All right, next up, it is indeed a great pleasure for me to introduce David Lewis. David Lewis is the president of David Lewis and Associates. He worked a long time to come up with that name, which is located in Melbourne, Florida. Since 1986, David has been training dealers, general managers, sales managers, F&I managers, salespeople, as well as service advisors and service managers on the art of inspirational selling. His unique ideas have helped thousands of dealerships nationwide achieve their sales and management goals. In 2007, David shared his ideas in a book titled The Secrets of Inspirational Selling, which gained immediate popularity and has become an industry standard. He has also written The Leadership Factor, Understanding Your Customer, Common Mistakes Salespeople Make, Winners versus Losers, and David is rated one of the top speakers at NADA and many other conventions. Currently, David and his staff train in over 800 dealerships nationwide and in Canada. David also operates 3 DLA training centers in King of Prussia, PA, Pittsburgh, PA, and Montvale, New Jersey. These are 8,000 square foot facilities offering his full range of courses. A quick search online turned up the following photos. Here we see David, good-looking guy. He's got that whole rock thing going. Here we see David. Every morning, instead of working out, David practices signing his own books. Here we see him on Car Biz Today. And then here we see a photo of David Lewis, 1989. It is at this point, the only thing that's remembered from this session is this quote from David where he said, "Only a moron would buy stock in a computer company named after a fruit." David tells me he drives way too fast to worry about his cholesterol, and he's working on about 3 hours of sleep today. He got in late last night. So please give a warm, innovative Dealer Summit welcome to David Lewis.
Great. Where'd you find that picture?
That was a good one.
That's a good one. That was a good one. I don't need that. I'm good.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
David has no issues.
No slide, no issues. David's just going to talk. So welcome everybody. Thank you all for having me. Yes, I am working on limited amount of sleep. I arrived here about 2:30 in the morning. Unfortunately, my hotel had given away my room, so they had bussed me back out to the airport where I decided it would be easier just to stay up and do my thing. I've got another event in Dallas this afternoon I'm going to fly to, so they're going to get the brunt of my tiredness, I think. It's always a pleasure to be here. I'm a big fan of Tim's. I do anything for Tim when he calls and asks, and here I am in Denver. I've been in this industry my entire life. This is all I've ever done. My next door neighbor owned a car dealership. I started stocking cars and washing cars and stocking parts when I was 13, 14 years old. I was a salesperson, a sales manager. I did F&I. I was a general manager and director of operations. For the last 30 years, I have been focusing on dealerships and helping them provide and create more revenue and more income. I hate to be a bearer of some bad news, and the bad news is this. We are due for an industry slump. I really believe that we're going to have a little bit of a recession here in the car business. I don't think it's going to be a major recession. I don't think anybody's going to go out of business. I don't think anybody's going to struggle, but I think we're going to see a dip. I agree with what our previous speaker said, that we're going to sell less new cars. We might sell a few more used cars. But what I think is this. I think the number one area right now that we are undervaluing and not creating enough revenue in is in our service departments. If you want to slide through this recession that we're going to go through, that's the area to pick up revenue, is in your fixed ops department. So what I want to share with you today are 2 very concrete ideas that you could take back to your dealership and put to use immediately to help increase revenue. Now, in our fixed ops department, there are basically 4 or 5 different areas we create revenue. We create revenue through our internals, we create it through warranty work, we create it through recalls, and we create it through maintenance, and we create it through customer pay. Customer pay is the number one area that we can increase and make an impact on. I don't think there's any dealership that isn't said to themselves, I want to create more customer pay revenue. So let's talk about where customer pay revenue begins. Customer pay revenue begins with a phone call into your dealership. 98% of all service work starts with somebody calling your dealership, whether it's to create an appointment, ask for an appointment, or to ask a question. And the problem is that we fail in certain areas because we keep doing the same things over and over and over again, and we are fearful of change. I started selling cars in 1979. We were taught selling steps in 1979. Ironically, we teach those same selling steps to salespeople in 2017. So let's think about this for a second. A customer calls your service. Well, let me ask you a question. How many of you here in this room, if I said to you right now, pay me $2,000, you write me a check for $2,000, and I will give you 100 customers in your service lane over the next 30 days that all have known mechanical failures with their car. They have no warranty, there's no recall, all you have to do is sell them the repair. So $2,000, I'll give you 100 customer pay opportunities. How many of you here in this room would pay that $2,000 for those 100 opportunities? I think most of you would. Well, here's the sad thing. You're getting those opportunities and you do not know how to capitalize on those opportunities. You see, here's what happens. A customer calls your dealership and they ask for service. You're going to transfer them one of two places. You're either going to transfer them directly to a service advisor or you're going to transfer them to a service BDC. And here's how the conversation's going to go down, almost verbatim. Service, this is David, how can I help you? Yes, I'd like to get a price on a brake job. I have a 2010 Honda Accord. I need front and rear brakes. Service advisor or BDC rep will say something similar to this. That will be $235 per axle plus tax. I'll say, thank you very much. They'll say, you're welcome, have a great day. Click goodbye. And you have lost revenue. And that happens every single day in your dealerships. Now, some of you will say, well, they will ask for an appointment. But here's an interesting statistic. We have proven that 68% of the time, they don't ask for the appointment. You know why? They're too busy. What are they too busy doing? Nothing. They're too busy doing things they shouldn't be doing anyways. When somebody calls your dealership and asks a question of a price, where do you want that customer? You want them in your dealership. But you see, when I called and you gave me that price of $235 per axle, and then we hung up, guess what I'm going to do next? I'm going to call another dealership. I'm going to call another service center. I might call Walmart, Tire Kingdom, Sears, or a couple of dealerships down the street. Do you know that our service departments, our dealerships are feeding another industry? The secondary repair industry is growing at a rate of 5,000% per year. Those are your Jiffy Lubes, your Sears, your Tire Kingdom, Joe's Auto Repairs, Mike's Import Car Repairs. Their business is growing at the rate of 5,000% per year. And do you know with whose customers? Ours. Our customers, because we do not know how to retain them. Now, part of that problem is perception. We don't understand and they don't understand. Some people feel that it's too expensive to get a car fixed at a dealership, that it costs more, but that's not always true. It's usually not true, but it's the perception that equals the reality. So now that customer calls your dealership, gets a service advisor, gets a BDC, asks a question, they give them a price, they shop the price. Well, you know what? If somebody beats that price by $5 or $10, guess where that customer is going? They're going to that secondary repair facility. They're not going to you. And this happens every single day. Now, you didn't only lose a brake job, you might have lost a front end alignment. You might have lost tires. Because brake jobs come along with other things. Other things are going wrong when people come in with brake issues. So the question now is this: how do we get that customer that calls and asks the question into the dealership? Well, what we do is we remove fears. See, people are scared of us. And you know what? They should be scared of us. Our job is to create revenue. It's to sell cars. It's to fix cars. And we want to do it right now. And they're scared of us. So, customer calls the dealership and asks, can I get a price on a brake job on a 2010 Honda Accord? My first question would be this: what makes you think you need a brake job? Let the customer tell you why. They're going to say, well, the car's making a grinding noise, or I'm pulling to the right, or I'm hearing something funny when I hit my brakes. You see, now, what a lot of dealerships do is they charge diagnostic fees. And I am adamantly opposed to any type of diagnostic fee. What I'm telling you is you got to pay me for me to have the opportunity to sell you something. Now, you'll say if you do the repair, well, then we'll waive the diagnostic fee. But that's scaring people. So, how much do you charge for a brake job? Well, what makes you think you need a brake job? Well, I'm hearing a grinding noise when I apply my brakes. Here's my next question. Statement. That might not be a brake job. That might be something as simple as a minor adjustment. I'll tell you what, I've got an opening tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. Why don't you bring your car in, let us take a look at it. If it's a minor adjustment, we'll fix it and send you on your way. If it's something more elaborate, let us give you a written estimate and then you can decide what to do. And folks, I'm telling you right now, that is creating tremendous amounts of customer pay. Customer might question that and say, well, are you charging me? Absolutely not. And again, if it's a minor adjustment, we'll fix it and send you on your way. And now we have the customer in the dealership. Now let's think about this. Now the customer brings the car in at 10 o'clock in the morning. We put it on the lift. We do the multi-point inspection. We all know it's going to need a brake job. So now we take the customer and we show them what's wrong and we sell them the brake job. Because guess what? Where's their car? Their car is in our dealership, tires are off, on the lift, ready to go. Do you really think that customer is going to want to go through the process of having had it all put back together and sent on their way? Now, I know that some of you are saying to yourself, well, not everybody's going to buy. And I agree, not everybody's going to buy. But you know what? Most will. It's your opportunity. They're calling your dealerships every day. When I go into dealerships and my staff trains in fixed ops and we go into that BDC where we talk about phone ups and how to handle a service phone call, I have dealers call me all the time and say, David, you created a whole new problem for me. And I say, I know exactly what the problem is. The problem is you don't have enough techs. You don't have enough hours in the day. And they go, you're absolutely right. I've got so much work coming into my shop right now. But here's the thing. It's good work. It's customer pay. Why would you ever tell somebody over the phone your hourly rate? How many of you here in this room have an hourly rate in excess of $100? Let me see, $100. Now you get the average person that calls in, a school teacher, a plumber. What's your hourly rate? $100 an hour. You know what's going through their mind? Oh dear God, I got to work 4 hours just to pay for 1 hour of labor rate. And then there's parts and other things. They start fabricating prices. Well, if my car's in there for 4 hours, it's $400 plus this, plus this. That's how people think. They're scared of us. They don't know. So when somebody calls and asks, what's your labor rate? What's your hourly rate? My response would be, well, it all depends. What did you need the hourly rate for? Well, my check engine light is coming on. Oh, no, that could be free. Look, that could be simple, something as simple as a loose wire. I'll tell you what, I've got an opening this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Why don't you bring the car in, let us take a quick look at it. If it's just a loose wire, they'll fix it and send you on your way. If it's something more elaborate, they'll give you a written estimate and then you can decide what to do. Would you like to bring the car in this afternoon at 3 o'clock? So you're not going to charge me? Absolutely not. And again, if it's just an adjustment or a loose wire, we'll fix it, we'll send you on your way. Okay, I'll come in at 3 o'clock. Now, where's that car? In your dealership, in your shop, with your technicians. How about this? The customer calls in, they want to self-diagnose. Service advisors are phenomenal at doing this, and I don't understand why they would do this. They tell people what their problems could be. Service, David speaking, how can I help you? Yes, I wonder if you can help me. I've got a 2010 Ford Fusion, and I'm getting a vibration noise at high speeds. What do you think that could be? Oh, well, that could be a bunch of things. It could be a tie rod, it could be a front end alignment, it could be your ball joints. And I'm starting to think, oh, dear God, that could be expensive. Well, would you like to bring the car and we'll take a look at it? Well, I'm not really sure right now. How much do you charge to look at it? Well, it's $89 an hour or it's $89 for a diagnosis. Why would you even tell them that? Customer calls in and asks, what do you think could be the problem? My car is vibrating at high speeds. I don't know. It could be one of 1,000 things. I'll tell you what. I've got an opening tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning. Why don't you bring the car and let us take a look at it? It could be just a minor adjustment. Heck, if it's a minor adjustment, they'll adjust it, send you on your way. If it's more elaborate, they'll give you a written estimate. And that's going to create revenue. Folks, for those of you that have service BDCs, in my dealerships, our service BDCs handle 97% of all inbound calls, and they bring them to a resolution. They don't have to go to the service advisor, only if it's a true technical issue. What good is a service BDC if all they're going to do is make appointments? You might as well just have someone, your phone operator just make the appointments. Your service BDC is designed to release the load of what's going on in your service department. Now, this brings up problem number 2. Now I've got them coming into the dealership. But you know what the problem is? My service advisors don't know how to sell. Now you might say, well, mine do, but I'm not convinced. Most service advisors, service managers were never trained how to sell. Let me ask you this. Please, everybody participate. How many here in the room, if I said to you your tires were at 2/32 of tread, know if that's good or bad? That's only a few of you that know. That means the rest of you don't know. You see, our service advisors talk right over our customer's head. Right over our customer's head. Customer comes in with 50,000 miles on it, just an oil change and a tire rotation. Tech comes out and says, you know what? Your ball joints are bad on the front of your car. Well, most people don't know what a ball joint is. We need to replace your timing belt. They don't know what a timing belt is, what it does. Why would you ever go into a customer lounge and sit down with someone and start explaining things to them? I sit down, Mrs. Smith, the technician did a multi-point inspection. Your car does have 50,000 miles on it. Unfortunately, your brake pads they're wearing down. You need to replace your brake pads. The rotors need to be turned. You also need a front end alignment, and he's recommending 2 front tires on the car. All she did was come in for an oil change. How much is that going to be? Everything complete, $940. Holy cow. Let me think about it. You see, here's the problem. She doesn't know if she needs it. She doesn't understand what needs to be done, and she's afraid to spend that kind of money. When we train service advisors, and when you talk to your service advisors, you've got to make them sell based on what people understand. Bring this down to a level that I understand what you're talking about. And the best way to do that is to show people. Don't ever tell anybody what's wrong with their car. Show them. So now Mrs. Smith's got her car in for an oil change and tire rotation. I know she needs all this work done. I go and I get her. She's there in the dealership. I say, Mrs. Smith, come on, I want to show you something. And I'm going to walk her back to service. And I'm going to show her everything. I'm going to say, Mrs. Smith, let me show you something. This is your brake pads. These are your brake pads. They're very thin. Let me show you. This is what a new pair of brake pads should look like. And she sees the difference. This is the rotor. This is what spins. Let me show you how the brakes work. When you apply the brakes, these push together. Rotor slows the car down. The pads hit the rotor. Your rotor's in good condition. If we go any longer, these beads are going to get into the rotor, and then the rotor's going to have to be replaced. Now what's happening is because your brake pads are going bad, your car's pulling to the right. So we need to do a front end alignment. And we've noticed your front tires are wearing funny, so we'd like to rotate the tires. It'll be X amount of dollars. Would you like me to move forward with the repair? Folks, your closing ratio on customer pay will go through the roof if you just start showing people what's wrong and explaining it to them in layman's terms. Mrs. Smith, has your car been pulling to the right at all lately? Oh yeah, I do notice that when I'm up on the highway. That's because of this. Are you getting any vibrations at high speeds? Well, that's because of your ball joint. Let me show you something. Now, what do we do with the customers that aren't in the dealership? Now, how many of you here have waiters in your showroom that exceed 50%? Have waiters that exceed 50% in service? Does anybody here in this room have waiters at 100% level? You all got to put your hands up. Because every one of you have waiters at 100%. Why do I say that? Because it's where I'm waiting. We always say waiters are the ones in the customer lounge. Well, what about the guy at work that dropped his car off? Or the lady that's at the mall waiting for her car? She's a waiter too. Everybody's waiting for their car. You see, you have to understand something. When I get up in the morning, I don't say to myself, hey, it's going to be a great day today. I got to go over to ABC Nissan. They got a great Wi-Fi system, good TV, and they always have fresh donuts. And I'm excited about this. They don't say that. This is the worst place they want to be today. This is an inconvenience in their life. So now, Mrs. Smith brings her car in. Basic oil change, tire rotation. She's got 60,000 miles on it. She drops it off first thing in the morning. She heads off to go about her day. Well, now the tech does the multi-point inspection. And we find out she needs brake pads. She needs new front tires. She needs a front end alignment. So what do? We call her on the phone. And we try to explain this to her over the phone. Well, she's nervous. She doesn't know what to do. So you know what she says? She says, nope, I'll just pick the car up when the car's ready. Let's just do the oil change and the tire rotation. That doesn't make sense to me. We have all the technology in the world. This is the greatest thing in the world. See, what I would have done with that customer is I would have walked out to her car, I would have clicked the video play, and I would have said, hi, Mrs. Smith, it's David at the dealership. I wanted to show you something real quickly. This here is your car. I want to show you. These are your brake pads. They're down to the rivets. These are what brake pads should look like. I want to show you your tires are wearing funny on the inside. That's because your brake pads are pulling you to the right because they're not wearing properly. The technician is recommending new brake pads, rotate tires, and a front end alignment. I'll give you a call in about 15 minutes. Then I take that video and I transfer it to a YouTube channel. It's free. My YouTube channel, ABC Nissan. Then I text her a link with that video. And I say, Mrs. Smith, you need to watch this video I just made of your car. Folks, your open rate will be in the 99th percentile range. Now, some of you are going to say to yourselves, well, I don't have permission to text them. Well, that's because you're not handling them right when they first come in. You see, we don't take care of our customers in service at all. We think we do, and we have good CSI, but we don't take care of their customers. Let me share what happened to me about a month ago. I drive a Lexus. I keep my cars till they got 120,000 miles on them. My car's got 70,000 miles on it. I need an oil change and a tire rotation. I make the appointment. I drop the car off 7:30 in the morning. I go to the office. At 10:30, all my employees are taking a break. I say, hey, what a great opportunity. Somebody can give me a ride over to get my car. I call the dealership. Could I speak to my service advisor, Rob? Hold on, and she transfers me right to his voicemail. Okay, hey, Rob, Mr. Lewis, wanted to see if my car's done. Click, hang up. Well, I don't hear back from Rob. At 12:30, they're going to lunch. What a great time, I'll go get my car. So what do? I call up. Is Rob there? Rob's with a customer. Do you want to leave a message? And I already left a message. Okay, click. 2:15, I call again. Oh, Rob took a late lunch. Do you want to leave a message? Yes. Rob, it's Mr. Lewis. I need to know if my car's done. Finally, at 4 o'clock, Rob calls me back. And here's what he says to me. He says, Mr. Lewis, your car was done around 10 o'clock this morning. I am spitting nails. I'm spitting nails. That's how mad I am. I go over to the dealership. You know what the guy says to me? He says to me, look it, would you be kind enough to give us a good survey? They're going to send you a survey from Lexus. And here's what I say, Rob, you'd be best off to stop that survey to coming from me this time. You really would be, because I'm not in a good frame of mind over this. You see, he didn't treat me properly. All he had to do when I dropped my car off is ask me, Mr. Lewis, would you like me to keep you posted throughout the day on the progress of your car? I would have said, of course. He said, great. Is it easier for me to email you, call you, or text you? I would have said, text me. Great. What's your cell phone number? Boom. All he had to do at 9:15 is text me, Mr. Lewis, they're bringing your car in right now. 10 o'clock, Mr. Lewis, your car's all done. You can pick it up whenever you want. That's customer service. And then I come in when I want to come into the dealership. The other thing that I'm adamantly opposed to is the way we deliver cars. Why aren't we doing an active delivery with our customers? I just came in and spent all this money with you, and you know what you say to me when I come in? The cashier's around the corner, and the cashier gives me my keys and says, your car is out back. Slip number 72, you can't miss it. No, it's my car. I should be able to not miss it. It doesn't make sense. It's about 6 months ago. I come home from a business trip. My next door neighbor, who I don't talk to that much, he's outside. He's got the hood up of his car, and he's looking under the hood. So I go, oh, it's kind of odd. So I walk over, I go, Mike, what are you doing? And he's looking under the hood, and here's what he says. He says, do you see anything in there brand new that looks like it's worth about $900? And I'm looking with the guy, and I'm going, no, I don't know. Nothing looks new to me. Nothing looks shiny. He goes, my wife spent $900. And now she comes out, and he says, what did you spend $900 on? And she goes, I don't know. They said I had to have some belt, a belt. And he goes, a belt? You spent $900 for a belt? And now the two of us, like idiots, we're trying to look at the belts. Well, it took me a few seconds, and all of a sudden it clicked with me. What she did was she had the timing belt replaced. She had about 80,000 miles on it. When she went in, he said, look, this is something we do on a regular basis. We want to replace your timing belt. Great. Now here's what he says. Where's the timing belt? And I have to explain to him where it's at. You know what his next question is? Well, how do I know they did it? I can't see it. It's encased. So what I did was we looked real closely, and we saw that the screws looked like the nuts and bolts had been tinkered with. And they did it. But why would you not take the time to explain to people what you've done? They come in to pick the car up. Why aren't we going out there and say, look, let me take a few seconds. Let me explain to you how this is done, how this works, what we did to your car. Here are the parts we use. Would you like me to throw them away? Most people are going to say, sure, throw them away. But you're not creating an atmosphere where these customers want to return to you. Now, my time is pretty much limited, so I want to share one last thing with you. In the beginning of my session, I told you that when people call your dealerships, you're not doing a good job. Well, guess what? I mystery shopped 4 dealerships here. I have a mystery shop team. We picked 4 dealerships at random. Now, I know some of you are in the room. I'm not going to say the name of the dealership out loud. I'll give this to Tim at the end, and you can go ask him, or he'll give them to you. But let me read the first one to you. I'm not going to say the name of the dealership. They said hello. Our shopper said, service, please. Someone came on and said, hello, this is service. My name is Jason. How may I assist you? Yes, can I get a brake job on a blah, 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 front, back pads, and rotors? He said, sure. That would be a total, you ready for this, of $1,472. That would include front, brake pads, rotors, labor, and taxes. We said, thank you. He said, okay, have a nice day. If that was my dealership, I would be spitting nails. You gotta be kidding me. We didn't ask for an appointment. We didn't even get the customer's name. We have no contact information. We can't follow up with them. We can't put them into our database. That was nothing. How about this one? How may I direct your call? Service, please. This is service. Hi, can I please get a brake job on a 2011 Here's $199 front, $199 rear, and that includes the taxes. Anything else I can do for you today? She said, no, nothing else. That'll be fine, thank you. He said, okay, have a great day. Didn't even give his name. Thank you for calling da-da-da-da. How may I direct your call? Service, please. This is service. Hi, can I get a brake job on a da-da-da-da? That would be $220 per axle. That includes pads, machines, rotors. Are you ready for this? But if you go online, you could probably get the coupon for $179. Why would you send somebody online? They're going to find other coupons at other places. That doesn't make sense. Now, he did ask, would you like an appointment? She said, no, not at this moment. I'm just getting some pricing, clearly telling you I'm shopping. He said, okay, great. If you change your mind, give us a call. We said, thank you. He said, goodbye. No name, no nothing. Can't follow up with them. I mean, there's two more of them. I'm not going to read them all. They're all the same way. Listen, folks, you know what's amazing? I spend a lot of time training salespeople. And when I started doing fixed ops training about 10 years ago, I was told a statistic that I had trouble believing, but it makes a lot of sense. Your service advisors create more revenue than your service salespeople do. Every service advisor makes more money for the dealership than one salesperson does, unless you got a guy or gal that are selling 30 cars a month, okay? We are going to go into a recession. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. For any of you that have been in this industry for a long time, you know that's how our industry works, okay? We're not gonna hit it 2008. As I said earlier, nobody's going out of business, nobody's going broke, but it's going to get tight. And the dealerships that focus now on fixed ops and used cars, as we said earlier, is going to make it through this totally unscathed, like nothing happened. So, thank you very much for having me here today. If anybody has any interest in what I can do for them, please just hand me a business card. I'll be happy to speak to you. I wish you all the best of success. Have a great time, and I hope to see you again in the future. Thank you very much.
Fantastic job. Give it up for David Lewis. Man, only at the Innovatives Dealer Summit. In the morning, we kicked it off with Mark O'Neill giving us that 50,000, 30,000 foot view, right? And then we go to David Lewis, right? He's telling us exactly what could be said in order to generate revenue in the service department. Man, it doesn't get any better than that. All right, it's one of your action items, and I challenge everybody in the room to do this. At lunch, we'll have a little bit of time. What I'd like for you to do is call your stores, your dealership service department, and ask how much for brakes. All right, that's your challenge for today, and then let me know how that works out for you. I think David's on to something here.